Are you new to SAYSF Bible Church and just don't feel plugged into the life of things here? Or perhaps you've been attending SAYSF for years, but you feel kind of on the outside. Maybe you describe yourself as feeling disconnected or unhappy, or maybe even bored with the life of our local assembly. You know, I recently read a great suggestion for dealing with this very common problem in church life. Pastor, author, and popular Bible teacher Kevin DeYoung suggests that if you're feeling that way, you should enroll in what he calls the +1 program of church involvement. I like his idea. Here's what his +1 approach to church involvement is all about. First, you begin with Sunday morning worship service, but then you pick one more thing in the life of your local assembly that you're very committed to. If you're a person that's feeling overwhelmed and very discouraged, or you've been drifting away, this advice is for you. Now, his +1 idea is rather simple. You make a very serious commitment to attend Sunday morning worship services. You commit to not missing a Sunday. Now, obviously, there's going to be some illness that will keep you away. You might get sick. The kids might get sick. You're going to have those vacation weekends that you're away. And some business travel will certainly be added to that. But the point is that you make a conscious commitment to make a priority in your life, being sure you and your family are attending the morning worship services at SAYSF Bible Church together. It's simply a saying, right now at this moment, I commit to making sure that we as a family gather every Sunday morning to the best of our ability to worship with God's people. Period. And then you add one more thing. That's the +1. Now, what I've learned over the years, 30 years of ministry, and talking with people in the church that are feeling disconnected, there's a couple questions that I should be asking them. First of all, it would simply be, well, have you committed to being actively involved in the worship at SAYSF Bible Church? And many will say yes. And then I'll follow up with the second question. Well, is there one thing in the life of SAYSF Bible Church that you have wholeheartedly committed to being involved in outside of regular Sunday worship? And you know what? Most people will say no. Now, I would personally suggest that one plus thing that you add to your life would be small groups. Small groups tend to be the easiest. They're the most biblically historical method by which people are truly getting to know one another and really getting ingrained in the life of the church. Small groups allow for a much more informal setting where there's an intimacy in prayer and an intimacy in sharing and fellowship that you just typically don't get on a Sunday morning during that worship time. Now, maybe you think small groups a little bit too much to bite off up front. Well, if that's the case, then try something like join the choir or handbells. Or sign up for our audio-visual team, the tech team. Boy, they could really use your help. They'd love to have you. Or how about the missions team? The missions team could use some involvement. Or get involved in the youth group. Or you could actually become a leader with our Awana program. I could keep going. There's many things. I'd say try that for 6 months. If after 6 months where you've gone through the +1 church involvement program where you've committed to worship and you're doing that one other thing that you've committed here in the life of the church, after 6 months maybe you'll find SAYSF really isn't the place for you. Maybe you'll learn that you just need a little additional help to get better connected. Or maybe you'll realize it's time for you to sit down with one of the elders or someone else to deal with whatever issue it may be that you see as a concern. But I am convinced that if you would follow Pastor DeYoung's +1 church involvement principle program, I think you'll find at the end of that 6 months, you're feeling much more connected, you'll have made new friends, and I think you'll find an excitement to take your +1 to +2, and maybe even +3.